Hello everyone, I'm Ansh and today we're going to continue looking at inflation. And this time in particular we're going to look at why moderate inflation can be good in a good economy. Essentially we're going to be looking at the advantages of inflation in a good economy. And if you watched last video or if you know about inflation, you may be wondering how can inflation be a good thing at all? And one of the reasons why you may be thinking this is since we looked at in the last video that when the monetary supply increases, when more money is in circulation, the value of each note or each amount of money decreases. Its purchasing power decreases, and what that means is the amount you can buy with that £10 before is not the same as you can buy with that £10 now. Say with that £10 before you could buy X, Y, and Z. After inflation, you can only perhaps buy X and Y. And that is an example of a decrease in purchasing power. Yet, many countries' central banks set an inflation rate target of 2 to 3% per year. And we're going to look at some of the reasons why. The first reason is to prevent the paradox of thrift. This is by John Maynard Keynes, who was a famous economist. In the paradox of thrift, when the economy is shrinking and prices are going down, so during deflation, people are going to buy less because they're going to wait for a better price. They know the prices are going down, so they're going to wait till the prices go even further down to buy things that they don't necessarily need right now. And due to that, the current demand would go down, so the demand would go down and hence less would need to be produced because people aren't buying as much. So the supply would also go down and the less is being supplied in the country and the economy would shrink. We're going to first skip to this idea, but you can also see these two ideas kind of link, since it's also to prevent deflation when you're preventing the paradox of thrift, since with deflation the paradox of thrift comes into play. But this also links perhaps more strongly to the first point, and it is one of the reasons why is due to the assumption that higher levels of spending are crucial to economic growth. And I've just got this drawing to kind of, in a more easy to understand way, illustrate what this actually means. And what this actually means is, say a standard family where this is the man and this is family and this is the money they had before, and they had $30, say these are $10 notes, and now they have, after inflation, they have $60. So let's say now and before, just to represent them having the same purchasing power. The $30 before has the same purchasing power as the $60 now. I have drawn each of the $10 notes here smaller than each of the $10 notes here, because before you can buy the same amount with a $10 note as now you can buy with $20. And this is an extreme example, but just to show an example of inflation, this is what we've got. They know they have more money. They don't know exactly how much inflation has decreased the purchasing power of the money. So with the inflation rate, the wages also rise, and hence more people are inclined to buy more things since they have more money on them, increasing the aggregate demand, which is the total demand of all the people. And let's say before they were only going to buy 3 strawberries when they were going to the supermarket. Now there's going to be a higher demand coming from them since they have more money. And now they're going to say for every 3 strawberries they buy at the supermarket, they're also going to buy 4 blueberries. And that's an increase in how much they've bought, and hence, since people are buying more, people need to supply more, and with an increase in supply, it's crucial to the economic growth, and hence the economy grows, which is good for the economy. And this is a reason why inflation, moderate rates of inflation, not high rates of inflation like this, but this is just an example to make it clearer, can be good for the economy. This would be, in reality, a much lower 2 to 3% inflation rather than 100% inflation, which we've got here. So now we will come to the second point. And the second point I've got here is to increase employment and wages and prevent deflation. So as you can see, I've got a few words dotted around here and there across this whiteboard. And now we're just going to look, to help me better explain the second point, now we're going to look at how they relate to each other. So we're going to first look at employment going up. And with employment going up, the total wages are also going up because more people are working, more people will receive money, more people will get wages. And as a result of that, the total demand, the aggregate demand will increase since people can buy more. And when the demand is increasing, that means that the price is also increasing. The demand is increasing, and currently a higher demand is chasing the same amount of goods as before, and hence they need to increase the price. So the price is increasing, and this is where inflation occurs. The price is increasing. Also, when demand is higher, it's the company is going to supply more since they want more profit. So they're going to also supply more. When the price is rising, they want more profit. They're going to supply more, and supply is going to go up. And yes, supply does, with the increased supply, the prices will go down slightly, and with the increased price, the demand will also go down slightly, but we're not going to include that in our diagram for now, as it's not a big enough effect to make this whole bigger picture wrong. So with the supply going up, they're also going to get closer, whoever's producing, let's say they're producing apples, they're also going to get closer to full utilization, where they're utilizing all the resources and working with whatever they can. And since they're also getting more profit due to the more supply and more utilization, so there's higher supply and there's higher price. So there's a link here with the higher price and higher supply. And they're getting more profit, the profit will go up, and then they're going to invest more into the company. So if they were nearing utilization, now they're further away from utilization, but they're also supplying more because they've invested more into the company. And since they've invested more into the company, they've created more jobs from that, and the employment goes up. And you can see we've kind of created a chain here. It's not too much in detail, but it gives you the idea why you want to increase, you want a small rate of inflation, because it keeps employment and wages up, and also as a result you want to prevent deflation because you don't want to decrease employment, you don't want to increase unemployment, and you don't want to decrease wages. And another thing is, the last point we have here is to encourage borrowing and lending. And the reason why this is since the purchasing power of money after inflation is less, and each note is less valuable, if you take a loan, then it's good for debtors after inflation, since they can pay it back with less valuable money, since the money they will pay it back with is less valuable. And this is good for borrowing and lending, since if you're borrowing, you know that after inflation, the money you'll actually pay back is less valuable than it was before, so it will encourage people to borrow. And then this cycle continues with more borrowing and lending. There's more spending, since people will borrow the money and they'll spend more. And also lending, the banks can charge interest, so they will anyways get money from that. And the people who have borrowed can buy more things, increasing spending, which in turn will increase supply and be better for the economy. So these are some of the reasons why inflation can be good. A moderate rate of inflation can be good. Now we'll look at some of the negatives of inflation and why some people disagree with this. So just to briefly outline some arguments against why inflation is good. Some people think that rising prices mean it's harder to save up money, which it is. They think that this means that people would risk riskier investment strategies, and if they're investors, they wouldn't stick to safer investment strategies. They'd take more risk, which means they may get more money, but obviously this is a risk, which means they may also lose their wealth. This is because they need they need that extra money from investing, from a risky investment strategy, which could give them that extra money to maintain their wealth, or perhaps gain some wealth over the rising prices. It's harder to save up money due to the rising prices and also the rising inflation rates. And this is a perfectly valid view, but of course it's not everyone's view. Otherwise, central banks of countries wouldn't be setting an inflation rate target of 2 to 3% a year. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and also watch my other channel, Ansh Mathematics. It's a great way to prepare for any tests or just have fun increasing your ability to problem solve, bettering your ability to problem solve, and increasing your mathematical ability. And also please watch my other videos, as I'll be constantly making new videos for new topics, and I hope you find them interesting as well. Thank you.